Welcome to Cross Transformation. It's Mariam here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about feeling trapped with a narcissist. That was my personal experience, guys, with that ex of mine. I was drawn to him. I couldn't let go of him. I was attracted to him, despite the fact that the relationship was very abusive and toxic. You see, instead of seeing the situation for what it was, I was distorting my own reality. I was idealizing him. I was idealizing the relationship. I was manipulating myself the whole time because, now listen, because deep down I was numb. Numbness was the root of that pattern. I didn't know that until one day I asked myself these two questions. First, why I'm allowing this guy to suck me back into contact with him? Second, why I'm allowing this guy to be in my life despite the fact that he is abusing me emotionally, mentally, and physically. Those two questions changed the way I was perceiving the situation. I got in touch with that numbness. That numbness. A helicopter again. All right. Deep breath in. I was conditioned to pain. And in order to cope with that pain that I experienced in my childhood and in my teenage years with that narcissistic mother, I had to learn to numb myself. And that was the reason I couldn't let go of that toxic person. Was conditioned to pain, and the coping mechanism that I had developed was numbness. And I also had this belief that through pain, I'll experience pleasure. But the whole time, I had to numb myself. Now let's go back to my teenage years with that narcissistic mother. After narcissistic mother had mistreated me, had belittled me, had devalued me, then she would suck me back into contact with her. There was no way out of it. I remember that she would begin manipulating me, the reality. She would begin abusing me, gaslighting, questioning my perceptions. And then she would give me silent treatment for 3 to 4 days. I remember that I would go to my bedroom. I would lock myself in. I wouldn't talk to her. She wouldn't talk to me. I only would go out when I needed to go to the bathroom or when I had to make myself a meal. After that silent treatment, she would begin approaching me. She would go and buy something for me. She would give me some pocket money. She would suck me back into contact with her. You see, in that reality, I had no other option. I was quite young, 12, 13, and I just didn't know how to respond to her. I didn't know how to break free from that pattern. So in that bedroom, I was feeling the pain. And to cope, I had to numb myself. And at the end, she would approach me. She would do something nice for me. And I had no idea that I was developing the pattern that I had. Pain, numbness, pleasure. Pain, numbness, pleasure. And that pleasure was like, it manifested itself as those narcissistic partners love bombing me. You see? Because mother was doing that silent treatment for 3 to 4 days, and then there was that reward, that pleasure, and the pattern that I was falling into the whole time. As I got older, I was able to leave the house. I would go to my cousins, but then she would reach out. Eventually, she would find a way to reach out. She would manipulate them to the point that they had to ask me to leave. And the only option was to go back to that house, to go and be with her. And, you know, she was doing the same thing, buying me presents, gifts. And that period of pleasure, that time frame of experiencing that pleasure would only last for a couple of days, and I would be finding myself falling into that pattern. Pain, numbness, pleasure. Until I asked those two questions out loud. And that triggered something in me, that I had numbness. And because of that numbness, I would deny the pain that was there in those toxic relationships. I would go back to them without remembering the pain, because that was my pattern where that narcissistic mother had to go back to that house and had to numb myself, had to forget the pain in order to survive, in order to feel safe, in order to exist. The question is, do I really need that pattern? Do I need to operate through that pattern, from that platform, right now, in this present reality? You see, when I was in that bedroom, I had to idealize my own mother, that you know what, there is a different version of her that finally all get to mate. But that didn't happen. Wasn't meant to happen. The truth was, she had narcissistic traits, and I had to accept. I had to accept her for what she was. And I had to learn, and I had to decide that, you know what? There must be a different reality outside of this. Outside of this narcissism. But in order to experience that, I must let go of the need to idealize her, the need to numb myself, the need to put up with this pain, the need to receive pleasure through pain. Allow yourself to break free from this vicious cycle. So nice when we come out of those toxic relationships and not having that urge to go back to them. Break the cycle. We don't have to go through pain to arrive at pleasure. No, we don't. The reality outside of that narcissism is way better. It is aligned with who we are in Christ, in God. So just trust that you deserve better, and the reality that you may not see it right now, but it actually does exist, and it's beyond this narcissism, is going to be the realization of who you are in God. And you can do it. You can do it. Just come out of numbness. Allow yourself to experience that pain. Allow that pain to flow through you, so you can perceive the situation for what it is, instead of idealizing that narcissistic partner, instead of staying in those toxic relationships. You deserve better, and you can do it. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. May you be blessed. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.